Jimmy, you talked about the 2 hour deployments. Luke, you said about early days of interaction analytics, it was like minimum of 6,000 people. Now it's down to about 20. What kind of maturity is this technology? Does everyone have it?
No, I think Jimmy did you quote earlier your Gartner from Gartner saying 20% of contact center seats? I think is it there's a fact something along the lines of 80% of contact center seats are in contact centers with 200 or less
Right.
agents, and that's kind of historically where it was really difficult to build the business case. As we've spoken about today, the advancements in the technology mean that's no longer happening now. And what organisations are able to do is leverage the learnings of people like myself, like Jimmy, and understand how they can get value quickly from it. Whilst that's the case, that we've also got then the technology developing as well, and things like the auto summarization of calls mean that you don't have to have kind of huge process re-engineering of QA and things like that to start to deliver. It does it from day one out of the box and gives you the luxury of kind of developing all the other use cases beyond that.
What's really interesting as well, how we've been looking at the platform, and again with Fornet, is you used to deploy the platform, but you used to then have to spend a lot of money and a lot of time and a lot of resource administering the platform.
Yep.
So then we talk about auto QA, and we talk about auto summarization, we talk about intents, but to build an auto QA scorecard, it could take 2 or 3 months to build everything that's into it, because you've got to build all the events. We've got elements of predictive modeling that's in there. You've got to build the models and fine tune them. You've got to then build the scorecard. There's then manual QA that might have to be slotted into it. There's weightings, all this type of stuff. So you've got to build out all of your individual events, then you've got to build it out into your scorecard. It's just not easy. There's a fair chunk of work. So when we talk about these types of things, but actually some of the near-term features that Mojo is building is AI-driven events. So the AI will just, based off some of the information that you give it, it will then go and look at some of the calls that you've taken. It will then go in and have a look at the market and look at who you are as a business and what types of lines of business that you would service, how people would talk about your brand and things, and then automatically build 500 events for you. Then then just moving on from that as an example, and it was from Luke. Luke kind of said it. Yeah, but then somebody has to listen to those events to make sure that they're correct. So who's fine tuning them or who's refining them? There's a whole heap of people who refine the events. Okay, but what happens if we build an AI for refinement? A separate AI that marks the homework of the AI that builds that. And then if you build those in the correct manner, and there's a lot of thinking that needs to be done. It sounds simple. Some of it is, and the simplicity of building a predictive model now, or building building into an LLM, it actually is more simple to do this type of stuff. It used to take months and months to build a model and deploy. It is simple. It is so much more about the user experience. Like, how do you we've had a bit of pain recently over something as simple as a wildcard. A wildcard, like if I put a star at the end of something and it picks up a load of different words, how does that impact a large language model? Just simple stuff like that. You've got to think about the use case. But then once you've nailed the use case, it's so much more simple to build and refine models. So AI generated events that lead to AI generated QA scorecards built. Again, we've talked about our deployment going from 2 weeks to 2 hours, but what happens if you take it from a scorecard build from 3 months to 3 weeks through auto-generated efficiencies? I think that's like super powerful, bringing down the overheads to deploy the product.
Helping you realise the benefits faster.
Yeah, and also, so much of what we try and do is it's ROI value driven, and we want to prove the value. Like we're not here just to sell tech. I think once you get to a certain size and have a certain sales force, that's a sales force in a sales force,
Sales
not
team,
sales force.
yeah.
Nothing to do with Salesforce, but somewhat to do with Salesforce. People just sell the tech. We need to prove the value of our stuff, and the quicker that we can prove the value, the more confidence, the more trust, and the more ability to like scale up for deals like the BPOs that we've won.